Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining in tonight with Venture2Roam. We're going to learn more about Will and Kate. Can't wait to hear where they've been and what all's going on for them. Hey, what's up, you two?
Hey, I kind of want that music to keep going.
Yeah.
I was like getting in the jam.
I know, it's my jam. And I love seeing all the vehicles that go through there. I wish I had pictures of the previous vehicles that I owned because there's, a lot. It's bad.
Yeah, you've got a Grand Cherokee in there. You've got a JT in there. You've got a JK.
Yeah.
Or a J. Is it a JK or JL?
JK. Matt.
JK.
Yeah, Matt had a JK.
Yeah.
And coming soon, possibly a Bronco. Just kidding.
You and everybody else.
I want one so bad, you guys.
Yeah, it's interesting. All the Jeep, Ford is converting all of the social media Jeepers.
I know.
They're going after them.
Like Justin McBride has jumped. Trail Recon, has jumped. Light Bright has one now.
Storytell Now has one.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's been running it hard. Hey, Cindy from Northology Adventures.
Yeah,
yo to you.
She's saying what's up. She's always just so great. I love that she's jumps on here. It makes me
if Northology gets out to Overland Expo Pacific Northwest, we are definitely going to have a beverage of some sort together because we'll be there. Oh, and Jeremiah from Overland Pioneers.
Yeah.
Hey there, fella.
I love Jeremiah.
Jeremiah is a good guy.
Yep. He is an amazing guy.
I talked to him just today. We were just hanging out on the phone. He's like my sponsorship coach. He knows how everything works, and he's like, "Don't do that, you silly boy." Like, here's how it really works. He's been really, really great.
So Jeremiah, I'm gonna need you to contact Matt.
It's too late for Matt. It's too late.
He needs a coach. Late. I need a coach on how to be with Matt. It's just we need help. Thanks.
So much coaching.
So what have y'all been up to? For everybody that doesn't know you guys, so you guys are Venture2Roam, and tell us a little bit about that.
You go.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I want you to go.
Okay. Yeah. So Venture2Roam is we're YouTube channel. Matt says my favorite YouTube narrator.
That is coming actually.
I lean into the narration. We're a YouTube channel, and we have Instagram and Facebook and website and all that. But basically, we just tell stories of overlanding, and we do that through video. So it's Kate, myself. Usually we have a very small crew of people that go out with us, and we're exploring the Western US, specifically Idaho and Oregon, because we live in Boise, Idaho. So we're kind of jumping off into Oregon sometimes. We're exploring. We're exploring up into the Idaho Central Mountains. We live in this really interesting part of the country where it's the edge of high desert that kind of fades into forested, a lot of protected kind of forested mountains. Okay. And so it's just a playground for overlanders to get out and we get to see a bunch of different stuff. And our style is we lean towards storytelling. So instead of showing kind of the details of the trail, we try to get at the feeling of the trip, or like what was the soul of that trip, and we try to go after that and describe that with in our video. So that's who we are. Kind of. Did I get that? Anything else?
I have nothing to say.
She's like, period.
Don't talk to me about this crap.
So I will say, you guys are honestly some of my favorite YouTubers, and I put y'all above Trail Recon. I put you sometimes above my husband, just because of the fact of the story. For me, it's all about getting that emotion and the feeling, and even the history. Because I know several times y'all research what you're going to do and the things of that area. And like you said, you tell the story, but you do it justice besides just the trail, because everybody can go out and off-road and see those things. But that's what makes that an amazing story.
Yeah, that is so cool. I mean, we've been traveling for a long time together, and we've only recently found our way into overlanding. But I feel like that's how we've approached all of our travels, is trying to find kind of the soul behind the place. And and like be honest about our own personal journey, maybe along the way, which is
too honest sometimes.
Like, yeah, maybe too vulnerable TMI, but that's
Right.
part of the fun is to try to, I don't know, make that relatable to other folks and share that with others.
Yeah, I love that. So you said that you're new to overlanding. So what do y'all do? I know this is probably just a side gig, or is it your full time? What do y'all have goals for it?
Well, our channel's not quite big enough for us to be full time yet.
yet.
So we're working on growing the channel right now, and it's actually doing for where we are for like 50 videos in. We're super happy with where it is, and the amount of the people who just give us such positive reinforcement is so great. There's a lot of people who talk about like negative comments and those, and sure we get some of those, but for the most part, it's just like overwhelming positivity out there. So that definitely feeds us. But no, we have full-time jobs. And so like really our channel is about the average overlander that has to squeeze it into a weekend or into
weekend
a vacation.
warrior.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you try to go out every weekend? Or do y'all?
Seems like it.
In the summer, for sure. I feel like it's a bit sporadic, kind of on the edge seasons. But yeah, in the summer, we try to go out almost every weekend, which involves a lot of like late nights in the week to get ready to go. And then some late nights getting ready to get back into work. But, we make it happen because it's important to us. And so we hope to sort of make that an example. Like you can do it. You can do it on a weekend and still have a great time and get yourself ready to go to enter the rat race again on Monday if you have to.
Totally. I mean,
so how far are y'all away from where y'all would go typically, or do you like go way out?
Well, yes and yeah. So like we live in such an awesome place in Boise. We're 10 minutes from a drivable section of the Oregon Trail, like not even 10 minutes. We can drive for 20 minutes outside of our door and be lost in the mountains or in the desert. If we drive for an hour or two, we can be pretty dang remote. So most of the time we're looking at, probably 1 to 3 hours to our first campsite, depending on like where we want to go. And then, we just keep trudging from there. It's not like other places where you got to drive 4, 5, 6 hours. We don't really deal with traffic because we kind of live on the edge of town. So we're just like, we're just out there. So, that
helps.
Yeah. But we do longer trips. Like we do like to go out. Yeah. And even in Boise, even in Idaho, where our population density is a lot lower than other places, there's still a bunch of people out. This is a place where people come to live, to be outside. And so sometimes
it's an outdoor state for sure.
It takes driving a little bit farther or sometimes a lot farther to find that place where there's no one around for, 10 or 20 miles.
Yeah. I will say I would probably be making YouTube videos of the Oregon Trail. Like we survived and didn't get wisteria or, like all of this other stuff. Cause I played that game. I played that game on the computer and I'm pretty sure I died every time. I never made it the full Oregon Trail. So I would be living that computer lifestyle.
No. You died of dysentery.
Yeah. And then you have like 2 oxen. And something like
those,
that.
I mean, talk about overlanding though. Like those folks, those were like OG overlanders. Yeah, it was like a 5-month journey from Missouri to Oregon and just nuts.
Well, and it's kind of wild. Like a lot of places we go, there'll be placards of people that like, again, in the Oregon Trail or whatnot, like made their way through and survived or didn't, or had, and it's like a reminder of how cush we are in our Jeep with our, nice food and drink in the back. It's pretty cush. Yeah.
And all the cameras. Like they didn't have that back then.
No drones. Yeah.
Somebody was documenting their things.
Yep.
So Papa Jinx said, are y'all up there by Ambition Strikes in northern Idaho?
No, we're not. So Boise is in southwestern.
Yeah, south central, southwest.
So northern Idaho is a good 6 hours from here. Idaho's a big state.
Yeah.
And that's
super remote.
Yeah.
Rural.
Yeah. So this, let's see, in the middle of Idaho is like just a ton of protected land. And so to get to North Idaho, you kind of have to drive around and do squiggly stuff to get there.
So Patrick says, hey, Will, you should have invited Chris. He's your true partner in crime. It's good to see you.
Patrick's awesome. So Patrick had a beard oil company and we did a little funny video for him where it was like the overlanding test. Field testing beard oil. So it was like on the rooftop tent. It's like, beard oil works up here. Anyway, Patrick was a good sport and he's been a really, really nice guy.
So we have a lot of comments coming in. So Jill said, we'll be checking you all out since there's history included in there. And I love it.
Yeah.
For sure.
So like when you go to a place,
Mhm.
the places that you go have so many stories that are already there. And so like there's when we go out, there's a couple things happening. Like we're out there experiencing, creating our own story, but like for example, and we went to Hell's Canyon and we went down and we camped on what's called the Imnaha River, which feeds into the Snake River.
Yeah.
And the Imnaha River is this place where, Native Americans were for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years before there were any Western settlers. And just knowing that, like being on the bank of a river and understanding some of that history and what's happened in that place, I think makes the whole trip way more enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, and I mentioned earlier, we're new to overlanding. And so we did some traveling before, in the United States and whatnot. And one of the things we always love about going someplace new is finding out more about it, like what's beyond the surface. So nice buildings, that's great. But like we like to learn about the people and sort of where it came from. And so I think that's like finding its way into our overlanding is like, we want to learn more than just the trail and the pretty scenery. We want to know like what happened here before. Yeah. So I think that's part of what we enjoy. And like, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Todd wants to know, will you guys be at Northwest Overland Rally or Expo Pacific Northwest?
We will be at Expo Pacific Northwest over the next Pacific Northwest. Yeah. In fact, I bought our ticket today.
We're going. It's official.
We're going.
That's so exciting.
You heard it here. Yeah.
I've never been to the Expo like that.
Yeah. So neither have we,
Yeah.
like we got into the community like as COVID was kind of taking its grip.
Oh, really? You're that new?
Oh yeah.
To like posting social media and and making videos. Like that's the first time I tried to make videos. You can go back and watch the first video, and it was like it posted a couple weeks after that first trip.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
See, I hadn't even actually met y'all. The only reason why I know you is because obviously my husband does YouTube, and next thing I know, I'm getting all these Instagram messages from a YouTube creators group, and I'm just like, who are these people? And
I like to struggle together. So like,
aren't we all?
Yeah, it's fun to have other creators like Matt and you. Like you two are hilarious. And like so let me just say this: the compliment that you gave us on our YouTube videos is like. That warms my heart. It's like that's like a high praise coming from you. Aww. We love your channel. We have to work so hard to make a video. Like I'm out there like doing crazy shots. I'm spending so much time in the editing room, and all you two have to do is turn the camera on. And you and Matt are just like so
You're
dynamic.
Gonna make me cry.
It's true. Like you don't have to. All you have to do is just turn the camera and be yourselves. And I'm watching for I do like 3-second cuts. And so it takes 20 cuts for a minute or something like that. And you could just leave it playing for 10 minutes and I watch the whole thing.
Oh, y'all are great. Well, me and Matt, he's my best friend. And I know you and Kate are just the same. So I'm sure it's coming for you guys too. But I honestly, I don't just tell everybody on here that they're my favorites. So just so you know. I really appreciate the storytelling, and that's the whole kind of the reason why I wanted to do the whole podcast. And I say that I've said this before, to get the people's stories, behind the drivers like, cause we're just all people struggling together, like you said. So, got to figure out what everybody's doing and just kind of learn from everybody. But I wanted to go through some of these pictures because you sent me in a plethora.
Here we go, Kate.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm going to start with my favorite. And of course, that's food.
Oh, yes.
So so I see the corn here, but in the back, what is that, a potato? Or is it a steak?
It is not.
It's a steak.
Yeah, you go. This is all you.
So this was, I believe, from our anniversary trip. So it was just the two of us. So I was like, all right, we're going to go real fancy.
You fancy like
yeah, we're going to go all fancy because it's just the two of us.
Fancy like Applebee's.
I wish I could do that dance, but I can't.
I know it does something like this. That's all I got.
Know. Yeah,
that's all
the shake.
Yeah. Yeah. I naturally
we just did it better than they did. I think that was really, really good. Yeah.
So we were like, we're gonna get fancy. We're gonna get like all gourmet. So like real gourmet. So that was for our anniversary.
Like you got grapes and tomatoes in there.
Yeah.
It's
it's actually olives.
Yeah. Walk it through what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. What is it?
So I think it was a filet, and that's the filet mignon that I bought.
Wait, is it filet mignon or is it filet mignon?
Which is maybe another picture.
Depends on how many glasses of wine you've had.
At that point, it was filet mignon.
So I got them on special. So don't everybody think we're too fancy because they were like on the bargain bin at Fred Meyer Kroger, right? So I got those, and then I made like this. it was some kind of like a chimichurri. And Will's like a big fan of Overland X's cookbook.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, he makes a thing in a jar.
Oh, he does, which we've done so many times.
I need his cookbook.
Oh, it's so good.
It's great. Chimichurri.
It's so good. But I was like, we're going to try chimichurri. It's not Overland X. So I mix things up a bit. You got to keep things spicy. It was like our 19-year anniversary. We got to get a little different chimichurri going.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. And then we just did a nice tomato and corn and tried to make it special.
An olive thing.
An olive,
yeah. It was like a full tomato bruschetta.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Kate loves these recipes, and I love to encourage them and participate when I can. And when Kate's not there, I like to do the cooking as well. But we try to eat really.
Do you cook out of a can, or do you do you real cook?
Fresh. We try to cook. Yeah, there she is. That is the filet mignon.
That was the filet mignon. Yeah, there had been some wine. But what I like about that picture is you can see the bargain. Do you see the bargain stickers on the filet?
Yeah. Reduced price. Reduced price.
Yes. If we didn't eat it that night, it would have gone. It would have turned. Yeah.
That's hysterical.
I just love, I work real hard at my day job, and we were actually talking about this tonight. I kind of love just the creativity of making food. It's just simple and real. And so I love doing it in the woods because it's just, again, it's so primal and we got to eat. And so we might as well try to eat as good as we can. And I have a lot of fun with it.
But I think food tastes different out there. Like when you're out there in the elements, and you're feeling the wind and the smells of nature and all that stuff, and then you are eating fresh food. I think it's worth trying to do a little bit more because everything tastes different.
There's been a couple of locations that we've stayed at that the food definitely tasted different, and that was because we were in major sandstorm. We were eating grit. It was just like, baby, this is some real high density Cavenders you put in this. But no, we got microdermabrasions. That was on the White Rim. Thank you. If they ever tell you to stay along the White Rim, don't stay at the place that's called Airplane. It's like that for a reason.
I love it.
But your skin was glowing.
Yeah,
it was.
It was.
A good glow.
It's a twofer.
Yeah. And now I'm back to retail pharmacy, and I just look horrible again. So we're good.
Not true.
But anyways, so this right here is another beautiful location. Where is this at?
Yeah,
that's Copper Basin. Yeah. That's Copper Basin, Idaho. Okay. Oh. In fact, we just released a video on our top 3 places for beginners to start in Idaho, and Copper Basin is one of them. It's right outside of Ketchum, Idaho. And Ketchum is like where the Sun Valley ski resort is. It's kind of like this celebrity ski resort town in Idaho.
Is this the same place?
Same place. It is. This is just a different. It's full of these valleys. There's dozens of these valleys. The mountains are between 10 and 12,000 feet high, and it's just beautiful.
Is this kind of the same area, in the water? Do y'all have water there?
There is water there, but this is outside of McCall, Idaho, which is this is just a little creek that we found. We were driving and we just found this little tiny creek, and we just pulled off. We didn't film this trip. I just took a couple pictures of it, and we put our chairs in the water to cool off, and the kids swam for hours and threw rocks.
So great.
It was great.
Okay, so you have 2 kiddos. Do they always go with you on trips?
Almost always.
Mostly.
Yeah, almost always.
We ditch them when we can, but that's not
only for the special anniversaries can we make that actually happen.
I mean, you can only have so much steak for everybody.
That's right. I only share so much.
Yeah, Matt said it. He walks around Kroger looking for those stickers.
Yeah. I mean, why not? As long as you're going to eat it,
Yeah.
Pay less.
And Matt with fries on the side says that beats his mac and cheese. So
I don't know. I challenge you, Matt, to a mac and cheese cook-off or mac and cheese cook-off. Next time
I feel like there's a story with this, but Cindy said, let's talk about the hug.
Oh, yeah.
This is where Chris comes in.
So if anybody watches the channel or listens to our podcast, which is the American Overlander podcast, you will have seen or heard from Chris, who's my best buddy. We've been buddies since college. We were best mans in each other's weddings. I mean, we're godparents to each other's kids. We're just very, very close.
So he's the third wheel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Elsha, his wife, and his daughter is best friends with our daughter. So it's like this virtuous
close couple
cycle.
Group.
Yeah. So we went out not too long ago looking for a winter storm that we couldn't find. And all of our buddies who were going to go with us, it's going to be a guys trip. They all chickened out. No, I won't say they chickened out. They had other things to do. And so it was just Chris and I. And Chris is the one who introduced me to overlanding.
Okay.
And we've been on dozens of trips together. And we realized that we had never been on a trip just the two of us. Like it was just me and Chris all alone. And so we had this idea to just do this little skit about realizing that we were all alone and then giving each other
just two dudes in the woods.
And what do? You just give each other a hug. And so so we wrote this little skit where we do, it's like all these close-ups of our face. And it's like, it really verges on like, you're not really sure like why they're smiling at each other. Like what's going to, and so we're our hug, we get this big hug going and it's interrupted by a drink and we drink and then we hug. Anyway, it was a fun little skit to do. And
well, you said that you filmed some of your things like multiple times. How many takes of this did you really do?
That's a good question.
Of the hug? Oh, so many takes. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say that, but yeah, I was like such a control freak. I was like, no, Chris, you need to look. You're looking too happy. You look a little bit sad.
Will's a budding director at heart. He likes to give
Get your arms out wider, Chris.
Like I'll be at the campfire and he's like, Kate, lean in. He's like, take a drink. And I'm like, or he'll be like, stir it.
Now tap it. Stir it. Now tap it. Tap the spoon.
So if it looks natural, good, but it's not.
Now we'll say what's going on here.
Oh yeah. So this is just a behind the scenes shot. Actually, our son took this. A lot of times, right, we'll get like a shot leaving camp or something like that.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I'm behind the camera and Will's in front of the camera. And so in that case, the kids were in the Jeep bored. They're like, can we please go now? And we're trying to get the shot. And so our son took that of me.
My daughter had just walked through the shot and that look on my face, I'm like, stop walking through the shot, Adela. I'm just trying to make a YouTube video here. And she was like,
Daddy becomes
priorities. Yeah.
I'm trying to be YouTube famous.
Lee says that she has Idaho on her list to visit. Where is your favorite place in Idaho to visit or to recommend for someone?
For the first time visiting Idaho?
Yeah, tell me where to go.
You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong with visiting the Sawtooths.
Yeah.
So Stanley, Idaho. Right now, I wouldn't go there now. It is like literally like maybe the coldest place in the 48, in the lower 48. But it is beautiful.
Sawtooth?
The Sawtooth Mountains in Stanley, Idaho are.
I feel like you have a narration for that.
They are. It's coming. They're world class. They are world class mountains, and you cannot go wrong if you start there.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, because you'll see something that you can't see other places. There are hikes you can throw maybe depending on, if it's cold or not.
It's really, I think, the mountain line. I mean, it's called Sawtooth because it looks like the teeth in a saw. So just really jagged, kind of rugged peaks, super remote.
There's there's a river. I can't remember which river it is that runs through it. And there's a ton of rafting and fishing. There's Redfish Lake, which is one of the most picturesque lakes in Idaho because it's right at the base of those Sawtooth Mountains. So you're like in a canoe looking up at those things.
Oh, that'd be gorgeous.
Alturas Lake is out there. It's also an access point to like the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness, which is this massive protected wilderness area. Back in the 70s, one of our conservative senators from Idaho wanted to protect the watershed, and so he got this thing passed, and it was a big deal. And I think he lost his legislative seat because of it. But we have this massive area that you can't drive into, you can only hike into, and so it's like a jumping off point for those kinds of adventures. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. It's Stanley, Idaho. It's great.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I'm sitting over here, you guys, with everybody that I talk to and interview. I have realized we are just so screwed because we want to go everywhere. Like there's so many places. Like I'm turned on to Kansas and I've like never been on, like nobody wants to go to Kansas. And I saw somebody and they told me this amazing thing. And I'm like, dude, it's just wild. There's just all over the United States.
Well, I got to say, I feel the same way. Like I keep thinking like we need to retire early so we can like go do all this stuff because there's not enough time to work. And I feel so blessed that we've got so many amazing places around this country. And it's so fun to hear everybody's, I don't know, corners that you wouldn't know about.
We've got like the mountains and different landscapes, but like you have the Ozarks. and you have like all of those deep wood
Yeah.
water crossings, and like I would love to go down there and explore that stuff because it's
But
totally
you have the water crossings there too, don't you?
not like you do.
Not
Not
like-
like it's not the
yeah.
same at all. No, it's
Okay.
dry here. Like we do have we have water, but
Yeah.
it's a dry climate
now.
for the most part. Yeah, for now.
Okay.
Some of them
So
are
how do
drying out.
y'all how do you plan your trips whenever you go? I know you said that they're only about 30 minutes. Do you just throughout the week kind of navigate and figure out your routes, or is everything there like public land? What all do you have to deal with there?
Yeah, I do a lot of the route planning, and Kate does a
Okay.
lot of the meal prep planning.
Okay.
And we coordinate together if we need like supply stops and things like that. But I just kind of I'm always it's always on my mind. Like, where should we go? What have we not seen yet? What's a challenge? And so like I'm always looking. I go to sleep. I go to sleep looking at my Gaia GPS. I have a shirt that says "I dream in Topo."
Oh, Matt needs that.
I'll send you one, Matt.
Yeah.
Because I'm always just thinking like, what is this terrain? What's there? Is there? Can we get there? Can we get there in the back in a weekend? And so it's just a constant conversation. And when you're kind of always obsessing about something like that, things pop up. Somebody says something and you know what they're talking about. And you look deeper and you find a spot. And so that's kind of how it's been. It's been pretty organic. We do have some big things that we want to do in Idaho. But for the most part, we're just kind of like always talking about it.
That's awesome. Marcus said he appreciates your dedication to filming. He finds himself enjoying the journey too much to film enough.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's a balance. It's hard it's hard because you want to tell a story, but at the same time, you want to be a part and experience it while you're there.
Yeah. Like when the conversation goes from did you see that to did you get the shot? Then I think like you need to reevaluate. And that has happened to us sometimes. Like, we have to like be like, okay, let's just turn the camera off.
And we've taken a couple of trips like on purpose and didn't bring the camera like on purpose just to make sure we are like, just taking a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally unplugged.
Yeah.
But we're lucky enough to, at least I love the creativity of trying to capture the story, trying to capture the place. And so, it really it actually heightens my personal experience when we're out there because I'm like excited by the place that we're at. And I'm excited by, can I get this captured in a way? And so, when it's all working together, it's really, really fun, but we have to be careful. We have to balance it back.
I totally understand that because sometimes I struggle with Matt because I'm like, I don't want to have to deal because it's work. I mean,
it is.
You think that some people are like, you have a YouTube channel, it's like they use that as an excuse when I'm like, that's just like saying somebody's a doctor and they, it's a job. It really is. I mean, it's a constant, like Matt spends a lot of time editing. He went out today to the Ozarks. And so there's things that he didn't get done around the house. So, it's a constant battle of being able to balance the filming and also enjoying yourself because you don't ever want to lose, like you don't want it to be having a job.
Yeah.
I think anybody who tries to put together a video, like a really good video, understands how much work goes into it. I think it's easy to say like, oh, you make videos or you shoot stuff and and that's easy. Just take a camera with you. But I think the people who like really try to do it understand how much work goes into it from shooting to editing to producing to promoting. I mean, all of that stuff. So, I have a lot of respect for you guys because, I looked at your stats. You guys did like 10 videos in the past 30 days or something that you released, which is incredible output. Is so much work.
Yeah. And you're constantly balancing like the output versus like playing with the algorithms, the watch times. And it's all kind of a little game that YouTube plays too. But Cindy wants to know if you're going to be the tour guide and scout.
There is a very small list of folks that I will tour guide and scout with. And Cindy is on that list for sure.
There you go.
If you're around, we can do some fun stuff. I don't know Bend as well, where OXPNW is. We've been there many times.
Yeah, we've got a couple spots, but we don't know it as well for sure.
Most of the spots we know are a little bit closer to Idaho. We know a few routes through there. So if you're around, you want to play around before or after, let me know and we'll go find some fun stuff.
Yeah, and Odyssey USA wants to know: are you planning on hitting the Magruder Corridor there in Idaho?
The
I don't know if
Magruder. It's
Magruder?
Magruder, yeah.
I'm totally booching it.
It's the Magruder Corridor. Yeah, yes. Because this year, actually, we're planning on doing the Idaho backcountry discovery route, which, if anybody doesn't know that, there are these routes that are created by like adventure motorcyclists.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they're not everywhere, but they're in many states. And it
There's
runs
one in
from
Oklahoma. I think it's called
Is
the
there?
Goat.
Oh,
yeah.
I think
There's certainly one in there's Idaho, Oregon, Nevada, California, Arizona, and it runs from Jarbidge, Nevada, which is the most remote town in the U.S. I think post office to post office, up to Canada. It's 1,200 miles, and it runs through the spine of Idaho. So it crosses Lolo, it crosses Magruder, it crosses the Clearwater River. It's going to be it's just going to be a beast of a trip that we're going to do this summer.
That sounds amazing.
can't wait.
Yeah.
So do y'all just go off? Like, when do you plan your longer trips? Is that in the summer?
Yeah. Like
Mostly.
to take the longer trips.
Yeah.
I would say spring, we try to take advantage of like spring and fall break.
Yeah.
For the kids.
Yeah.
So those sometimes are longer trips, but yeah, we don't do a ton. I guess
Yeah,
our longer
maybe
trips
like
are
2 a year, like 2 long trips.
two longer
a year.
trips.
And
a
you
year.
say long by like a week, 2 weeks?
A week.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
a long trip for
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we can
Okay.
afford.
Yeah.
You know, like we're burning our vacation time to do that. So
Yeah, I know.
It's
I'm
like
so thankful.
it's either that or we go to Hawaii or something, which,
Mhm.
you know, that's a tough choice sometimes.
Hawaii is really expensive though. That's a real expensive trip.
Yeah.
It's more expensive for you. It's closer for the ticket's less expensive for us to get there because we're closer. But
Probably. Matt knows somebody that flies a plane.
There you
I'd
go.
Just gonna hook up with that. But Marcus said to come on down to Red River Gorge in Kentucky for the water crossings and the
I would love
pinstripes.
that. And, I'll take them. We have like just those pinstripes would just add to the collage that's already on the side of our Jeep. Yeah,
I was about to say, so let's go over.
Yeah.
Is this your vehicle, the Jeep?
That's it.
That's the front of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
Finn.
let's see.
I don't know if I sent you like a.
Let's see. I have
There's
some
Finn
things
in there.
here.
He's tucked
There
in
it
there.
is. Yeah, we're the white
So
one. There.
Finn is
Yeah.
the white
Yep.
Jeep. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where did you
that's our
get the
Jeep.
name Finn?
Well, I guess I'll tell this.
You
one
should
too.
tell it, yeah.
So Finn. So it's a white on white Jeep, and so there's with black accents, and so
Okay.
it's commonly called like a stormtrooper is like a nickname for those kinds of colored rigs.
I've seen Stormtrooper or Yeti.
Yeah. And so in the newest Star Wars movies,
Oh,
Finn is the
yes.
first named stormtrooper. So
Yeah.
and and he's a good guy. So so we named him Finn.
I love that. We love Star Wars around here. So
do we.
yeah, it was super fun. That between that and Marvel,
Oh yeah.
we're all the things. Yeah, I definitely love it. Where was that picture taken? Because that's gorgeous.
Oh my gosh. So that's at Three Fingers. That's maybe our second to latest vid that we put out, and
Okay.
one of our favorite places on the planet. I hesitate to like talk about it too much
Because you don't want people.
It's
Mhm.
such a gem, I know, but it is stunning. And that particular campsite, it's just, yeah, you feel like you're in a very blessed place.
Yeah.
And there's hikes, there's caves, there's all these hidden things to go explore and find.
It's out in the Owyhees,
Yeah,
which
it's in the
is
Owyhees.
a really amazing, like 10 million acre public land area that's just about an hour from our house.
Gotcha.
It's gorgeous.
That's so cool. I'm so jealous that you have. I mean, we have the Ozarks, and I think, which you may not be, but a lot of people become so blinded by the area that they're in. I don't know if that's the right word, but because you're used to it all the time. You're just kind of numb to it. Like the season changes around here. We're like, yeah, no, we didn't get much, the weather, the wind, all that. And then you have people down in Florida where my sister lives, and she's just like, I miss the change of the seasons.
Yes.
And
Oh yeah.
Yes.
so you just get so used to your area that you're just, but I look at, like you said that we have the Ozarks, and I'm looking at your stuff, and I'm like, what are we, like we just want to go everywhere. So
Yeah, the grass is always greener.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's just not enough time. Well, I don't know. We'll check a bunch of that stuff off the list as we go.
I know
There's just so much to do.
there is. Matthew says, where are you guys based out of? They're in Idaho. So,
Boise. We're based out of Boise, Idaho.
yeah, that's awesome. Cindy just wanted to follow up and said we will definitely want to play around before.
There it
or
is.
After.
Okay. All right. Now it's on the internet now, Cindy. It's recorded for posterity.
Now, is this going to be at Core? Or is
No,
this,
I think Cindy's coming over to Overland Expo, Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When is that?
That is the weekend after the 4th of July.
I want to say, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think we have anything going on at the 1st of July.
Well, come on over.
I know Matt's watching, so he'll probably correct me and say, we're going to go somewhere. But I think in the end of July, it's Colorado. So I really wish I didn't have to work.
You guys are doing Colorado this year, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're going to do, yeah. Well, usually we do 1 year Colorado, the next year Utah.
Nice.
Or somewhere, not Colorado. But yeah, this year I think we're gonna do what is it? It's not the Rubicon. What is it, babe? He's not listening. Maybe he'll answer. Anyways, I'm waiting.
Matt, type it in the comments.
Where
are you going?
Yeah, but the Holy Cross in Vail. That's where we're going.
Okay.
He just yelled at me. So
all right. Good luck with that.
I don't know if y'all heard that, but he's like the Holy Cross.
Holy Cross.
I know.
That's a tough one, I think. Isn't that like a pretty technical?
Yeah, it's pretty technical, but you get a gladiator and you think you can conquer the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you conquer Pritchett, you think you can conquer the world. So. Yeah,
Pritchett's intense. What size tires do you guys have on that?
He has 38s. I would like for him to have 40s. Yeah, I really would. I like.
Is there like a drop down rope ladder when you open the door?
Yeah, it's actually kind of like a rope swing. You can kind of just go diving off of it, almost kind of like this.
Hey, well done, touche.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just you trying to climb up into Matt's Jeep. You just can't see it.
Here I come, Matt.
Where is this at?
That's amazing.
So where is this?
It's, we were in Copper Basin. I am not.
Is that still Copper Basin?
It is.
It's a hike that we went on.
I can't remember the name of that
Bella
lake.
Bella Lake.
Bella Lake. Up to. So we went on this. So again, we were without kids. We only had 2 trips last year. All the pictures are from that. That must be saying
without kids.
Yeah.
I only
he sent these too. I don't. Is this?
That's behind us on our wall. That's
Hell's Canyon.
Hell's Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, that's like an hour and a half. That's more Hell's Canyon.
That's more of it.
And those are the Wallowa Mountains back there, and that's all protected area. And then the Hell's Canyon Wilderness or Hell's Canyon Recreational Area is kind of where the drone is in that shot. And there are just it's over there's a valley right over kind of the
like in that little
ledge.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the Imnaha River runs, and it is a phenomenally beautiful place.
It's like untouched. I mean, people raft through it, and the few of us that have rigs get to drive through it, but there's very few of us that can do.
Is there trails? I guess
there's trails. It's just really remote and wild. It's very, very wild. Primal Outdoors goes out there a bit. That's another YouTube channel. I think he's based out of Bend, actually.
Yeah.
And a few other people, but there's not a lot of YouTube videos, like well-known YouTubers who go back to Hell's Canyon because it's come on out.
Oh, for sure.
It is world-class out there. In fact, that river gorge, for those people who like history and stats, is deeper than the Grand Canyon. It's the deepest river gorge in the US. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like 8,000 feet from river to peak.
But
you don't have to. But
only
only the 34 people watching right now. I'm sure there will be more later. So when you watch,
it's so good though. Like I want it to stay that way.
Yeah.
So how do you? So it's all protected there. So is that like national forest? Is it like BLM land? How does that work?
It's like a mix. So like the protected land is those are wilderness areas. They're designated wilderness areas. So around the Wallowa Mountains, you can't drive into. You can only hike into, and they call that like Little Switzerland, and it feels like that too because they're like the Alps. And then it's a mix of national forest land, BLM land, and like state land. It's all mixed together, but it's really you can, I can't remember how many acres it is, but you can go from
you can camp anywhere,
miles and miles and miles. You can camp. We always try to camp in designated camp spots.
Okay.
So no matter where we are, we try not to create a new fire ring or a new space.
Correct. Yes.
But there is a ton. There's a ton of camping out there. no reason to just, pull off and camp someplace that doesn't have a site on
No,
it
but they
already.
have like a lot of sites out there that
Tons.
you can camp
Oh,
at.
yeah.
Okay.
Tons.
Dispersed, all dispersed.
There's a lot of hunters out there. So,
Yeah.
so like during hunting season, a lot of the campsites are created by hunters. And so, yeah, there's just a ton.
That's way cool. So Cindy, she brings up a great question right here. She wants to know, what is your policy regarding route and location sharing on social media? Very curious. I know we've seen a lot like undisclosed locations, So what is the policy that you guys have on that?
Do you want to pull up our written policy?
Yeah, the addendum.
The addendums to the.
Yeah.
We don't share GPS coordinates ever.
Okay.
On publicly. I have shared, like, if someone reaches out to me individually and goes through the effort to try to, discover a place, normally there's a little bit of vetting that happens there where it's like, tread lightly and leave no trace. And in those cases, I have sent some GPS coordinates to a few people, but for the most part, I will give like general area information. And if it's a well-known trail on like All Trails or something, or if it's a well-known area, sure, we'll talk about that. Well, but we don't need to give GPS coordinates if that's the case. Right. If it's a place that's a little bit more remote that we maybe don't want to bring too much attention to, that's when we tend to back off and we get pretty broad. So we might describe like the area itself, but we won't give specifics on where we are.
I think we're so spoiled, like in Idaho, like most people think we're in Iowa, so we're super spoiled. Yeah. But I say that because we're both from here, and there is a bit of like feeling of, so some folks
this is your home kind of thing.
Well, yeah. And some folks are coming here and aren't respecting the land. And so there is like this feeling of need to protect that, because we've seen areas of campsite areas that had to be closed because there was too much human waste. I know that's not unique to Idaho, but that's new to Idaho. Yeah. But it's new. Like we haven't experienced this before, and so we're being discovered.
I know COVID's brought a lot of people wanting to get out. So
it has, and so like that has a lot of good to it, but it's like, gosh, so we're just trying to do our best to educate and help. And I know when we were we're new to this, like we said. We appreciated GPS coordinate, like we looked for that, but now we understand why that's not always out there. And
I'll tell you this too, like it's cheating. I think if you're an overlander and you're getting into it, there's nothing wrong with reaching out and trying to get more information on where some good areas and some good, trails and things. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're just asking for GPS coordinates, that's cheating. No way. Like the fun is discovering a place, is making those mistakes, is learning by mapping your own route. So I wouldn't want to shortchange someone of like the real adventure as well. Yeah. And that's just something I think we believe in.
And I have some other things to tackle on to all of this. Cindy, you may not care about my opinion, but I'm going to tell you mine.
I care.
So we don't share publicly either. There, like you said, there's places that will post, like in the All Trails thing. And so those you can just Google. Some of the places around here, some of the waterfalls, you could just put it in Google and it'll pull it up to you now. But so we have Patreon, of course. And so that's one of the things that we offer to our Patreon people. And I will tell you, we have those people and you can't kind of prevent it. It's just kind of that they'll hop on and they'll subscribe, get what they need and then get off.
Right.
That's just the kind of things that you're going to have. But we consider our Patreons kind of like our close family as far as the people that support us. Yeah. And so we think we share the same values. Otherwise, why would they be doing that? Yeah. That may not always be the case, but that's our hope with it all. But I will say it's kind of a hard balance for us because you want to hold these places really close and all of that. But at the same time, you want to educate and teach people how to, pick up their trash and stay on the trails and tread lightly and do everything. And I think it's just a balance of trying to teach and educate versus also letting people discover these places. And like you said, it is cheating. It is, you give someone the coordinates to something, they can just go and then they go. And, who knows if they're going to leave beer cans behind or stay on the trail or cross the stream, Yeah.
And what? Like I put in hours. I put in hours and hours and hours finding that place. Yeah. And there's like, to me, that's an asset.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
not
fine
only
with somebody
that,
else putting in the hours, but it
you
just
did
like
put in
give
those
it away.
hours and you did the studying and you know how to use the tools.
Right.
Those people will never learn. Like it's the whole you teach a person how to fish thing and then they can like you've got to
Yeah.
teach them all of that. Otherwise, they're never going to be able to learn.
Yeah. But we do want to inspire people to go outside, and we want to inspire them to do it. I'd rather have them watch our videos, your videos. There's some other really great creators out there who, like Primal Outdoors is somebody I mentioned before, who really abides by leave no trace. And like, we watch them. That's where you should learn how to go out and recreate, because it is our land. We should be going out there. And as long as we adhere to those basic principles, and we all make mistakes, like nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
But as long as you're trying to adhere to those principles, then come on, let's go. Let's, everybody should give it a shot, because it's really wonderful. And if we all go outside and experience what it's like to be out there in nature, disconnected from from the internet world and connected to our natural senses, then we change as people. I think fundamentally we change, and we come back and we experience the world differently every time. And I think that the more people who do that, the better.
Yeah. And I'll tell you that a lot of, I know J.L. Haynes just said outsiders are often to blamed from being from Kansas where no tourists go, but also it's the locals. That's another thing I wanted to mention is I had an interview with Crayons and Carns, and where she talked about, she's about to make a video calling the mark we make, about how people are going in and messing up the slot canyons. And she, came across this family, and it was a little child that was just drawing, thinking, it wasn't someone that was just, I love Bob or, Matt and Cara forever. It's not anything like that. It's like these little children who just don't have the education.
Yeah.
And it's just sad.
We have that here
for sure.
Like we have people flooding to Idaho from other places. And so like we took the position not to demonize them or like take a hard line on like judge them really, but instead we're just going to keep encouraging positive behavior and showing in our videos, and to the extent that people watch those and to the extent that it's spread across YouTube, we'll be doing some positive impact, because it's real easy to get negative and positional on those folks. And a lot of times they just need to see it. They just need to know.
Yeah, they don't know. And you don't know what you don't know. I mean, in many cases, I think it's just lack of education. So we seek to educate where we can.
Yeah. It's just a hard balance. I totally understand. We have, we are all on the social groups, and somebody will post a picture. I'm married to the greatest husband in the whole wide world. But at the same time, sometimes he will call them out for driving, where they're not supposed to. And so I just wait for people to come on and start a whole debate. And that's just the way it is. But, you got to have those people that will say something, because some people don't say anything. And
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So I was just on a trip with my best buddy, Chris, and it was just that one where we shot the hug video, and we were traversing across this bit of a wasteland.
Hug video.
And out there, there were clearly people had dumped, like locals. It definitely is locals. To Matt's comment earlier.
Yeah.
Couches. They take them out there and they shoot them up into nothing, and they leave them out there. And it's like, it makes me even angrier, because it's like, just because it's your house doesn't mean that you should break the windows. You know what I mean? Like, so there is that piece of it. And if you see a dishwasher in the woods, it wasn't put there by someone from out of town. It was put there from somebody who.
And we did the goat trail that goes through Oklahoma with Chad Ellis and Taylor Adney and Nathan, I think, even was on that trail. And every time here you come around a really sharp curve in the Ozarks, you kind of can look over and see like a little waterfall that's kind of coming down that. Every time we would turn around a sharp curve there along the goat trail, there was like hills of just like trash heaps. And it's just, And it's just like, why? What goes through people's heads that's like, I'm going to dump my trash right here. Like, I don't understand that. And we try to pick up trash. We went this past week, we went to the Ouachitas this past weekend, and we picked up some trash, and it's just not cool.
Well, I have to give you guys credit too, because you do those things, and a lot of your life is, and maybe someday it'll be a little bit more like that for us, but your life is on video. Every decision that you make, you're documenting. Not everyone, but a lot of them.
Not all.
And you're
of
also
them.
opening but you're opening yourself up to criticism from other people as well for not getting it perfect every time. And I think that, being directionally correct is more important than being perfect. And yes, we should strive to be perfect in some of those things, but directionally correct is probably, if we can all get there, like we're all directionally kind of doing more good to the earth than bad. And yes, we make some mistakes or whatever, but if we get there as a whole, we'll be doing a lot better.
Yeah. And being able to accept criticism.
Yeah.
Like being able to grow from that, take what you are told and learn. Like, don't just think that it's someone attacking, And I'm going to go on a tangent, and that is not what this show is about.
Here we go.
So it's been a long day. I work retail pharmacy. Don't go there.
Give me my Percocet.
Exactly. I got it yesterday. You don't need it for your grandma. Okay. That's all I will say. One of those days. I love your pictures. Now y'all are having a glass of wine here. Where's this at? Was this a part of the anniversary dinner?
Kind of. So this was actually the day before we went out on a big sort of group trip.
Okay.
To the Sawtooths, actually. So we mentioned that earlier. So that is so Idaho has a wine country, which may or may not be well known.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that was, we did like a fancy wine dinner before we got in the campers and went, to the backcountry, which was a lovely juxtaposition. But yeah, that was in some wine country out by
our camper has a wine rack. I don't know if y'all saw
as
that.
It should.
Hey, we have a rule.
Yeah.
We have a rule.
Best wine.
Always bring the best
Only
wine.
bring good wine. Yeah.
Don't bring the cheap stuff. Always bring the expensive stuff, because it's worth it. Like it's when you're out there, you seeing what you're seeing, that's worthy of a good bottle.
You should toast to the good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing little quote that I just loved that so much. Don't scrimp on the cheap wine when you're out camping.
No way. No way.
We only bring the good boxed wine.
The strawberry wine. So someone asked earlier, I can't find the message because there's been like so many and I've been trying to keep up and I can't. But they wanted to know, what was your favorite? Oh, right here. There you go. Matthew Owens. What is your favorite meal to cook while at camp?
Oh, I'm gonna go maybe fish tacos.
Oh yes,
right.
Tacos.
Oh,
look, tacos. I'm a taco guy.
I'm
not a taco.
I'm not.
I
don't. How do you cook these?
I don't drive tacos, but I eat them.
So I bring tilapia, I just bring frozen tilapia. It kind of thaws out over time in the fridge, or I put it out a little bit early. It thaws, and then I cut it up. I put it in a Ziploc. I put all my spices in, and then I fry it. Put a little cilantro, a little pico, a little.
So you just fry it in a skillet?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we bring it we get an avocado, so we'll mash up some guac. Yeah. Just kind of like with a spoon. Yeah.
Oh, it's easy and it's delicious.
So good. So fresh. Fresh cilantro.
But you got to have cajita cheese too.
Cajita cheese. Yeah, that's really important.
And then it's,
I've never thought of fish tacos at camp.
Yeah, it's so simple. I'm a taco guy. I love tacos. But I would think my favorite meal so far, Kate's chili mac. This chili mac, I'm not kidding you. This chili mac is like
it beats Hamburger Helper.
It is a I don't know, it might be really good actually.
Don't give him any idea.
But it's it's a turkey based taco flavoring inspired chili mac, all fresh ingredients. And it's out of this world. It's still today our kids' number one most favorite meal of all time. And it's mine too. It's just so addicting. It's so good. Yeah. We'll send you the recipe.
Yeah. You need to, so after this is posted, you'll have to go to the comments and send the chili mac.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it.
It's very easy actually.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of cans.
That one we do use cans on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It sounds so good. Do you take, whenever you go camping, do you plan, I guess you said you had a fridge. So you have a fridge.
Yeah.
So do do you plan just certain meal? Do you plan your meals, or do you kind of like throw in ingredients and? Like,
I totally plan. I'm a meal planner. Like I plan, like I'm a meal planner when we're not camping. So I guess I meal plan for the camp too. So yeah, I plan out the meals and then I only put in what we need. And then I bring like what's it called? I always want to say mountain house.
A mountain house. We always have a mountain house just for backup. We've never used it.
Yeah,
it's the same mountain house. It's like
a
10 years old.
ramen, like just in case things go bad. Like we will not die. We will have something.
Yeah.
So Matt says that fish tacos is something we're gonna try.
Go and do it.
Try it. It's delicious, especially in the summer. I feel like it's a good summer hot meal. Yeah.
But we actually have a podcast coming out next week that we recorded just on like camp cooking, planning, food, and we have a small fridge because we have a Jeep, and I wouldn't trade it for a bigger fridge, but we do have to be a little careful on how we pack it. But we've never really had an issue. I think we get like three, maybe 3.5 days out of food in there, and then we have to restock.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was about to say, if you plan your trips accordingly, and if you eat the food that you take and you don't have too much extra, you can always restock.
Yes.
Like along the way.
Exactly.
I love having a fridge.
Oh, I know. It's a game changer. And then I usually try to like plan the restock because a lot of times we're restocking in a not like normal grocery store. So I try to plan like the restock ahead of time too.
Kate has documented service stations across the western states that have a particular brand of potato chips.
Kettle brand pepperoncinis. I've started like I have a journal.
It's been our Gaia GPS. Like this is a peppercini stuff.
It has a pepper. It has a little pepper icon.
So we can be sure to restock our pepperoncinis. That's a.
I'm gonna start labeling Buc-ee's like that. I'm gonna be like put a beaver like wherever I got. We will go to Buc-ee's no matter what. But I have to answer this or say something to Matthew here. Mountain House meals, the best thing ever, especially since he normally goes home. I appreciate that you like the simple things in life, but you need to try real food because if you have real food when you go camping, it just is so amazing.
I would revise that statement, Matt. I would say Mountain House meals, easiest thing ever, especially and also taste good because they don't taste bad.
I've never had one.
We haven't either. We just keep bringing the same one.
I grew up on MREs.
If we ever have to use it, we will probably be.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the one that we've had is probably
the same one.
past its fate.
Matt even cooks when he's solo. That's for sure. He will. He will go buy all the bacon that my Kroger sells.
I have seen Matt eating like the generic Lunchables in his videos. I'm always like, come on, man, you can do a little bit better than that.
He will. Sometimes he will. He will. Especially for snacks during the day.
Yeah,
he'll just have a Lunchable or like a little sandwich or whatever. But yeah, totally. I totally agree. But we like to eat well on their meals.
Same.
Oh, you guys make some amazing meals. You guys do some stuff that is way beyond us. You guys are doing like lasagna. I mean, you guys are doing like pizzas.
Yeah, I mean, we did lasagna in the cast iron. We did lasagna that one. That was a really good lasagna. We haven't had that in a while. And then we did fried rice, like hibachi with steak and shrimp. And then one thing that we did when we went to Big Bend is we made some soup. I have an Instapot. So we made some soup before we went. And then we took it in the little container and just kind of reheated it.
Yeah.
We do that.
That was just amazing. I did tell Matt, though, I was like, we're going to have to figure out how to do this. Like, you know, because in 3 years, we're going to be doing this full time. And I was like, we need to figure out how we're going to, like, because you don't want to cook too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because then you run out of room. But then we will have 2 fridges, maybe 3.
But still, it's like opposite. Like when you're like normal life, you're like, let's make sure we have enough food for everybody. Yeah. But when you're camping, you're like, oh, let's err on the side of having a little bit less food.
Yeah.
Right.
Because leftovers are a problem. I mean, like disposing of your leftovers can be an issue. Like you don't want to just like put it in the fire. You don't want it to be super stinky in your trash. And so if you can wind up eating it all, that's probably the best scenario. Yeah. And so it's better to have a little bit less.
Yeah, there's Matt's motto right there. I'm not cooking lunch. I got places to see.
Oh, totally.
So we're in the same boat. We
same.
never cook lunch. It's always like actually it's a Lunchable. It's like we bring lunch meat, pickles, and cheese.
Pickle wrap.
Like,
it's a pickle wrap.
But it's the adult Lunchables, like where you eat the fancier, the Genoa salamis. Like it's the nice fancy.
Yes. That's exactly it's like there's no time for a stove. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
Travis says
gosh.
jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
Ooh, yes.
So we are actually working on putting together. I won't say exactly what it is, but let's just say it's like an organized reading of recipes, and one of them is
It's like a narrated video.
No, this is like something that you could actually pick up and read and have with you in your kitchen while you're making food to show you how to make the food.
Okay. A guide.
And one of the recipes, one of the recipes that we're working on is a jambalaya, and it's a jambalaya with like a cauliflower rice base. It's actually in our Hell's Canyon video. Elsha made it, and they're teaming up with us on the recipes. And jambalaya at camp, oh my god, it was so good, and it's relatively easy. It's kind of like a mixed grill, with some smoked paprika and other spices and things.
That sounds amazing.
Now we've been talking about food for a long time. I'm getting hungry.
I know. I've got to throw this up because Troy's wife makes the most amazing grilled cheeseburgers. So I don't know if I can even describe this. Like it was, he asked if anybody wanted it, and I was stupid, and I said no. And then Matt got one, and I had a bite of his, and by the end of that, there was none left. So I couldn't go back and get more. So Troy, you owe me a burger. But so basically, he gets the burger. And he puts a grilled cheese, maybe on the top, like a grilled cheese sandwich on the top and the bottom as the bun to the burger.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Oh, it sounds real good.
Yeah,
oh my!
It's worth all the cholesterol. It's worth it.
Oh yeah,
totally worth it.
Like if I die after that, I'll die happy.
I need
so
to be friends. I want to be friends with your friends, so we can come have one of those with you.
Yeah, we talked about food and trash this whole time.
Fundamental.
That's
hysterical. So where do y'all plan to go for 2022? What amazing trips do y'all have coming up?
Well, I feel like the Idaho Discovery Route, that's the biggie, I think. I mean, we have to do Hell's Canyon again. That's kind of an annual pilgrimage that we'd love to do. And then I think Expo Pacific Northwest, that's kind of a big deal. We've never gone. So that's a big one. And then I think maybe we'll explore a little bit more of Nevada.
Yeah. So like we're so close to northern Nevada, which is just like so unpopulated. That there's a trip that I want to do that goes. Alvord Desert is out where we are, and it's this ancient dry lake bed at the foot of a 10,000-foot mountain, and there's a series of other deserts close to there. So Alvord Desert to there's another kind of smaller playa called Coyote Lake out there, to Black Rock Desert in northern Nevada where they have Burning Man. And kind of do like a tour of the desert, then come up through the southern part of the Owyhees and back into Idaho and Oregon. Just sounds like such a rad desert trip. I know the guys.
I think that should be the title of the
rad desert trip.
Channel. Yeah, rad desert trip.
There's a place called Boulder Basin outside of Ketchum, Idaho that the guys have gone to, but we want to bring the families to. It's this old mining town. It could easily be a badge of honor trail, a Jeep badge of honor trail. I'm glad it's not though, because it means that less people go to it.
Yeah.
But it is a tough 6 miles. It takes about 6 hours to go 6 miles.
Sounds like Pritchett.
And well, I don't think it's as bad as Pritchett. Pritchett is you can ruin your rig.
We did 12 hours for 4 hours. 12 hours for 4 miles.
I don't think it's that. Your 38s or 39s would be just fine on it. Although Sully is longer. It is.
I will say Matt yelled at me and said it's only 37s. I wasn't going to say anything because I was like, he would like that I gave him an extra inch.
I know, those they do come in 38s though. I think those Milestars do. But a longer rig is a little bit tougher on that because there's some tight corners. But that's another one. There's a place called Railroad Ridge that we're looking at, which is the highest road in Idaho. It's a 10,000-foot road that goes up on top of this mountain, right next to this crazy old. Some guy has his private land up there. It was this crazy old weird ranch, and so we might stop by and say hi to that guy. And then there are just
you make it sound so intriguing. I'm just gonna say we're like you turn left by Toad Suck and you go down through People's Gap. That's what we say. And then you can go through Possum Grape. I mean that's what we say here. And you're
That's
just
awesome.
like, but there's
Well, we're like you may get shot if
may
you
get shot.
don't make a wrong turn.
Yeah, you
because
get shot. Private land is a
private
real,
land is
you got to be careful
yeah,
out here.
be
Yeah.
careful.
Shoot
Well, you
first.
may come up across some meth lab here in Arkansas. So there's that.
There's a couple of those out here too.
If you take the wrong turn, just
Take your
say
pick.
it.
Yeah,
Say
You need to make sure you pull up that overlay and guy where it shows you the
Yeah.
private property.
Exactly.
Yeah, the meth lab overlay.
Yeah.
in Gaia.
Exactly. That's a hot spot. That's a hot spot.
It's red. I love
Speaking
it.
of, I do want to say, like, I like have wanted to make a Gaia GPS video on like
Mhm.
how we look for spots, and I just haven't been able to do it yet. Not that I won't in the future, but like every time I think about it, I watch one of Matt's videos and I'm like, well, he's already done that one. I'm not gonna add anything better than Matt. I mean, he's like the Gaia.
You can make a video about the video that you were gonna make, and then you just
Yeah.
put Matt's video.
Yeah.
And then just link to
just
it.
me watching
Yeah,
Matt's
link to
video.
it.
Yeah.
Be like, I'm gonna start a Patreon next. Come subscribe. It's hysterical. Oh, that's so funny. So, what do you guys shoot with whenever you're doing your videos? Do you Canon, Nikon, Sony?
Yeah, we're a Canon fam.
Okay.
Not that I'm super brand loyal to Canon, but we started on Canons, and so
Okay.
we shoot with the Canon. Our main cam, like I would say like our artistic lens that we try to shoot a lot with, is a Canon 90D. So it's
Okay.
a DSLR. It's not a mirrorless. And hello, Brian Porter, friend. That looks like a wonderful big gulp you're drinking.
That is. It's a Dunkin' and Donuts, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah,
I think it's
you can see
Dunkin'.
there. So we shoot on 90D with a Sigma
Okay.
18 to 35 lens that has a fixed 1.8 aperture. With anybody who knows anything about cameras knows what I'm talking about.
I do.
It's a really fun lens to shoot with. And then, we tend to dial down the aperture or dial up the aperture. And so we have filters on everything, but that's kind of our main cam. We have a GoPro 9 that I just hate. I hate GoPros. I wish there was something better.
GoPro 10's really good.
That's what I hear. The GoPro 9 is awful.
I know. We skipped that one because Matt did a lot of the reading of the reviews, and he was like, "No, we're not
It
doing
just
that."
turns off. It just turns off mid
Oh,
roll,
that's
or that's
horrible. Yeah.
corrupted files.
So, do you do a lot of your filming with your Canon?
A lot? Yeah, as
Okay.
much as I possibly can. So all of the outside of the rig shots
Mhm.
are on that Canon. All the camp shots are that Canon. We had our drone was a Mavic 2 Air or Mavic Air 2. But I have smashed that to smithereens and lost it. So we have a Mavic 3 now, which is really nice.
May it rest in peace.
Yeah, it's an expensive.
How did this happen? What did you do? I gotta hear.
Oh, I wish it was exciting. I'm editing this video right now, and it's so hard because I lost so much good footage. But we were at this place in the Owyhee called Birch Creek Ranch, which is an old ranch down on the Owyhee River, surrounded by these cliffs and hills, and it's just gorgeous. And so I was trying to get this like sweeping shot of the ranch, and I had just moved the drone from like one location to another, so I took off the obstacle avoidance, and I just forgot to turn it back on. So it was flying about 40 miles an hour coming around this corner, and then I have the footage, and it just goes and turns off, and it hit hard enough that it disconnected all power. It was not connected. I think it shattered to a million pieces. I think it actually hit a rock face at 40 miles an hour. I searched for it for an hour and a half up. I climbed, I don't know, probably like 900 feet up a mountain looking for this thing.
It's like a goat.
I wrecked my knee. It was just, I was so mad. And then that same trip, so spoiler alert, that same trip, I'm cooking Mexican street corn for dinner. Like Chris was doing carne asada and I did Mexican street corn. And we had this really awesome, I think it's a GSI collapsible stock pot. And I must have heat up the oil too much or something. I went to wash it afterwards, and like the collapsible piece is like this, I don't know what it is, like polyurethane or something or rubber. And it just came apart. And so I was like,
no.
I lose my drone. I ruined my knee. My stock pot doesn't work. I'm just going to go look at the stars. Like I was just so done. Turning this stupid camera off.
All right, is the crash footage going to be on YouTube?
Yeah, it's not very interesting though. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then it goes black. But yeah, I'm going to make a big deal about it in the video.
Last
Milk it
hurrah.
for, milk
You
it for
know,
everything I can.
we had went to New Mexico and Matt's drone got stuck up in a tree, and he was standing there with this. I had a really long. I have it right here, actually. It's like this really long, like Insta 360 that stretches out, and it just keeps going and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
like it's like a boom pole basically.
Yeah,
And so he was using this to get the drone out of the tree, you know, and he finally got the drone out of the tree. But then like the week after, he's like, I'm gonna go film me riding around town on my death scooter. And he has the drone flying, and he has the obstacle avoidance on, you know, and it's following him, and it's like going around the tree, and then all of a sudden it like sees a branch and it's like accelerate, boom.
Oh no.
And like it like I don't know, we don't know what happened, but he sent it into DJI and they sent a new, I don't know, refurbished, I don't know, drone back out to us, and I hope it doesn't have any issues again. It hasn't so far. He took it today, so
yeah.
But those drones,
But they're good when they work. They're really great if you use them right. You know, if it's, I do like drone footage, but too much of it is also too much.
He just said, "I did not crash the drone."
He didn't. I thought he said like I didn't crash it today. I was like, okay, well, good. There's one.
Not today.
One day.
Yeah, I have a picture somewhere of Matt's first drone footage, like drone flying trip. He actually flew it into my daughter's hair. And so it was all tangled.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It was great.
But then, so to finish answering your question, there's a bunch of other camera equipment that I won't mention because it's just too nerdy. But we shoot a lot on our. We also shoot a lot on our iPhones. Like, we try to mix.
That gives me hope, because I was like, babe, you're gonna have to step up shooting your camera game.
Well, no, you guys have really beautiful shots. We try to mix. So we try to mix a little bit of mixed styles. So we want to have like that smooth cinematic, good framing, and we do that with a drone and our main shooter camera. And then we also want to have that like you're in it with us POV, and that usually comes from our iPhones. And so that's kind of like those are our main shooters. What's good sort of lever drone, cost, easy to fly. I would say if you're going to buy a drone and you want to use it to shoot your trips, I would DJI, you can't go wrong with DJI. And I would get one, I would get their most basic model that has tracking ability and obstacle avoidance, because the DJI minis are great because you don't have to register them with the FAA, but it's really easy to register them with the FAA. It's like $5 or something. Yeah. So just get the,
it's a one, sticker.
And you will get better footage. They're easier to fly because they have the built-in sensors and the stabilization where they won't get like blown around in the wind as much. Yeah. And you'll have
DJI. I totally second everything that you just said.
Mavic Air, I think, is a good one.
Yeah. And start off smaller. Don't go all out and get the Pro, because then you'll crash it and then you'll hate your life.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I crashed my Mavic Air like maybe 4 times before I actually crashed it. It had its final death that last time, but it had many close calls before that.
Yeah, it's always super, super sketch. I do have a quick question before we finish this, because I don't want to keep you all night, because I could just sit here and talk forever. So how do you finish your narration? Like, how do you do the research of your narration? How do you develop that? Do you develop the story as you go? Do you take notes as you go and be like, I want to talk about this? Tell me a little bit of that story process.
Well, Kate and I start talking about the trip before we go. And we talk about it during the trip as well. Like, what is this? Like, what is this place? What is this trip? And so we're kind of
well, and it's weird, not to be like, I don't know, too much, but it's like, what's the essence? Like, what's the soul? Like, what's happening? We try to go there.
Do you do that in post, or do you do that?
We do it. No, we do it before we go and during, and then just because of, I have a full-time job, and it takes me a while to edit these videos, especially kind of the way I would like to. I'm still not quite there, but I'd like to edit them. I'm going for a certain kind of end product. And so I tend to do a rough edit, so I can kind of see everything, because you don't want to narrate something that's opposing what you're seeing.
Right.
And then we start writing, and I will write a bunch of different stuff. I'll try it out. Kate will be like, it's a little too much, Will. Like, it's not making me cry, buddy. You just sound like you're sentimental. And so like
I
we'll
need
do
to feel emotion. Show me your emotion.
a bunch of iterations, and so we're writing and recording and vetting and talking, and it's revision. And I think that in the end, it's somewhere between like clearly narrating what's happening between what you're hearing kind of as a voiceover and what you're seeing someone say on the camera. So that's like, you need to understand clearly what's happening. And then, thanks, Matt. And then it is that other piece. Like, what are the things that either touching on the history of the place, and sometimes you can't just launch into history. Like, so I call them like little interrupts. Sometimes you have to just do like a little interrupt, like pop out. Let's talk about this history. Pop back in. Let's get into the story again.
This is like a real word. You just made that word.
And then sometimes it's like, okay, let's try to tug at something here. Let's try to tug at what is happening. What are we sensing? What are we seeing? And what's the soul that we can try to extract? And then where Kate is really, really, really good is she looks at the whole thing and she goes, it doesn't add up. Like you've gone down this rabbit hole, but we don't know how you got there, and it doesn't connect to the rest of the story. And so she'll look at it she's always kind of like, she looks at it at the end, and she has this big stamp on her that she holds, and she's like, I stamped that approved, or like,
it sounds like I'm like rain on this parade,
which is so good though. That's why it's better. It's better.
So good.
It's better that way, you know? And so anyway, so it's
but like, I also think like there's been a couple times I'm like, Will, you're taking this too seriously. Like, we need to like make this funny. Like, so there's good.
So like there's this video that we made it's I think the title is like Overlanding Derailed by Dumb Mistakes. And I was going real sentimental, and I was like trying to like show, this trip that we just made a bunch of mistakes on it. And she was like, she watched and she was like, you're going at this all wrong. Like, look at how positive you're being. Like, you're so stupid right now on camera. Like, you're like, it's going to be a great trip. And she was like, no, but like you came up with the idea of like, why don't you comment on that?
Make fun of yourself.
Like, comment on it. Like, and it was this great little intro where it's like, look at how optimistic I'm being right now. We had no idea all the things that were going to come. And so it's stuff like that just happens when you have a really great creative partnership, and you both kind of are aligned on what story you want to tell.
I will say, Cindy, like she says here, that she likes that you're not afraid to admit mistakes, the frustration or disappointment. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. And you got to show that real life. I think that's one thing that we need to work on a little bit more. Honestly, though, you would probably wondering about me and Matt's marriage if you were to see some of these things, because sometimes it gets pretty intense. We're both very passionate people. And so it's just, I don't know.
I don't know. I struggle with that too, Cara. It's when it's going to be out there forever.
Yeah.
Like I think you skew towards polishing.
Yeah.
Versus raw. And I think it's a fine line. Like, you don't want people to give you marriage advice after watching one of your videos.
We get that anyways.
But you also want to show that, like,
this last video where I said that I was going to redo our vows after 5 years. You know how many people have got on to me about what type of woman and wife I am that will wash their hands in the cold?
Okay, well, there's this really great video from Jevin Dovey, who is like a YouTube creator helper. And it's like 9 things to do as a creator in 2022. And he spends an exorbitant amount of time on hide user. hide user. You don't like those. They don't even know. They don't even know that you've canceled them out.
We've had that. We've had, I love Matt's hair. Like that we love his hair. But every comment, I can bet you that someone will say something about his hair. I mean, he's had people call him out on his political stance because of his hair. And it's just like,
Well,
What?
hide user. And also I've seen just as many comments say like, we need to see more Cara, please. Cause we're
Yeah.
I
like
know.
it's always better when she's on camera. So, you know, I would listen to those
I know.
and not
You
to the other.
definitely have to choose who you listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't pick it. You can't listen to everybody. For sure. All right, guys. It's been a great night.
This has been a lot of
This has
fun.
been tons of
I like, we just need to do this. We don't have to record it every time.
Yeah.
But we need to do it more.
I would love to. So when are y'all coming to Arkansas?
It's not on our list, but maybe it
gotta
should
get
be.
it.
Yeah. Well, we can come.
I
we
know
can come hang with
I didn't
Sully.
hear it whenever you were listening to all these things. I was like waiting for Arkansas or more. You could come to more.
I would love to come to more, actually. I hear that's
Yeah.
a really, like, anybody who lives close to that area, like creator friends that I know, and there's a handful of them, they all
Yeah.
rave about how good more is. So, and that's
Why don't
indoor,
you
right?
come? Yeah, why don't you come?
It's just so far. You always have to fly in. Just right now,
Yeah.
travel is kind of weird with,
Yeah.
you know, the world.
Yeah.
And so once that gets kind of figured out a little bit more for us, I think we'll take some more trips that
Yeah,
maybe we
good.
fly in and not drive in.
Yeah.
Well, y'all can fly in and y'all can like ride in the vehicles and you can just take our vehicle. But you're gonna want to drive your own vehicle.
We'll rent a stock Jeep
Yeah.
and
Oh, wouldn't it be sad?
we'll void the warranty on it.
Yeah. You'll take it back with all the stripes and be like, it adds character. That's what he told me. I was watching a YouTuber. I don't know.
These were on it when we picked it up. I'm sorry, we didn't.
Exactly. Oh, so give us a little spiel. Tell people where they can find you and just kind of promote yourself in the last few minutes here.
That's you.
Yeah. So YouTube, Venture2Roam. It's Venture2Roam is not Rome like where the Vatican is. It's ROAM. So Venture2ROAM, Venture2Roam on YouTube. You can see us on Instagram. That's kind of where we post a lot of kind of what's happening today and behind the scenes stuff. And our website's Venture2Roam.com. We just launched a new website, so it's looking good. Although probably the main place to go is our YouTube channel. And so if you're watching this and you haven't seen our videos before, go to the channel, check it out. And, you know, if it's your style, great. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. If not, that's awesome too. There's room for everyone out there.
But yeah, go and subscribe to their channel because I don't say that lightly. Their narration is top notch, and even the intro that y'all did, where you shot all these different angles and clips and pieced them together, it was heck of cinematography. That's a really big word.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's really good. Well, I've had a fun night with you guys tonight, and y'all go enjoy your wine, and
Okay.
we'll catch up another time.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Sarah.
you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.